What's up, fam? Welcome back to Joint Lines. Today, we're going to be reacting to Jubilee's Astrologers versus Astronomers. Is astrology science? And yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe.
Step forward if you agree. Astrology is a sham.
Hot take.
Hot take. This is a hot take right here. First of all, where would you say? Is astronomy or astrology a sham?
I think it's prejudice, honestly.
I think it's prejudice. What do you mean
Yeah,
by
I think
prejudice?
its whole basis is prejudice.
Like, against what? Like,
Against like just different like people. It's like, oh, you're this, so you're automatically fall under these like sets of rules about you. You know, like you're a Cancer, you're a Leo, you're this, you're that. Like that means this, this, and this about you. That's why I'm like, I feel like that's just prejudice in its own way. Like,
I feel like it's not prejudice because, first of all, I feel like people... See, we're having the debate already. Well, I feel like people kind of manifest those ideas a little bit of like what it says, and they kind of manifest that into their personality. Not all the time. Sometimes it does line up, you know?
but
But the thing is like, I don't think astrology is like... How did you put it? Prejudice? Because to me, to be like...
the best way to put it is it categorizes you before anybody's ever met you. And innately, I feel like that's what prejudice is.
But personally, I've just never really understood how something that's so far away and that could potentially be gone could affect you when you were born.
One of the things that they don't account for, astrologers, is as time passes by, there's this thing called precession where the Earth's axis actually makes like a rotation. And these constellations were set like 2,000 years ago. And they still assume that these are the ones that are where the sun is when you were born.
I think sham is kind of it's a negative word, but from a scientific standpoint, we don't see that there's evidence that we can't make predictions on people's lives based on the positions of the stars.
Can the disagreeers come forward?
I practice Western tropical astrology. And so the tropical system of astrology goes off of the equinoxes and the solstice. It has nothing to do with the constellations.
Okay, now there's different types of astrology now.
Yeah.
Now you got me fucked up.
Yo.
And now this is out of my league. All right, I knew the basic 13 that she was talking about, and now I'm gone. All right.
I just know space equal animals, and I am that animal. You know what, guys? This is too much science mumbo jumbo for us. I think we're out of our league in this one.
You know of astrology in the Western world.
I also specialize in tropical astrology, and that's just one system in astrology, right? There's tropical and sidereal, those are the two systems, and they're separated by 23.4 degrees. It all depends on what system works for you.
So does that mean you have like a choice, or you see what everything means and you're like, okay, I want to pick that one, I want to study that one?
It's based off of what really resonates, right? And you'll know what resonates with you. You'll get this inner feeling through your chakral system, and you'll know right away.
Whether you resonate with Vedic astrology or Western astrology depends on whether you're more interested on using astrology for predictions or whether you're more interested on using astrology to understand yourself and validate and affirm the things that you feel in yourself.
Okay. I'm a relatively spiritual person. You know, I believe in chakras and things like that. But I don't think that the way that the moon and the sun were however many thousands of years ago were aligned is going to make up who I am. And that's basically what I got out of what she just said.
Well, they did say that the whole that they were aligned several thousand years ago. The guy debunked basically by saying there's two different kinds and they're separated by the 23.4 degrees that she was saying earlier. So there's actually different kinds that do take that into account, like the rotational axis of the Earth.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that that they're not in the correct position. I'm just saying that.
Oh no! I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I was just saying I'm just saying against your whole the way they were aligned thousands of years ago thing. My thing is that I think it, I'm pretty spiritual too. Like, I believe in chakras and energy and manifestation and all that. But I think what it really comes down to is how much you believe those things actually have an effect on the energy, like, around you, you know? Like, I'm someone who more believes that everything in the universe has some kind of, like, energy that it emits and some kind of, like, connection to the universe. And I guess believe that the stars and the alignments have an effect on your energy because it's supposed to resonate with you, is what they're saying, you know?
No, I hear what they're saying, but I'm just saying, like, to me personally, I can't get behind the idea that something that was, like, done thousands of years ago is going to create my personality, which I believe is made up by my lived experiences, not by, a moon and a star.
I mean, but it's not just the moon and the star. It's also, like, your soul and, like, your own spirit. It's supposed to, like, resonate with them and, like, make you feel, like, certain things that can change your personality. And also, like, influence the way how you feel about yourself and see the world. So.
You say astrology, meaning that the stars do matter, right? So what part do stars play in Western tropical astrology?
It's not so much being born around the time that the constellation is in a certain place in the sky. You have this chart wheel, and it's divided equally in 12 parts. So the rising would be dependent on that wheel, what sign, and not constellation, but what sign, depending on the tropical divisions, is on the eastern horizon. Then the rising is the first house, or it's the cusp of the first house, and there's 12 houses.
What does that mean? Because I hear that, and again, I'm not familiar with it. It just kind of sounds like a lot of
Gibberish.
gibberish.
Yes, absolutely. If you think of a clock,
My man said it. That's exactly how I feel about everything that was just stated. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, this is the stuff that I was talking about earlier, where there's the 12 houses. I didn't know the correct words. They're called houses, not pillars. But there's the 12 houses, and then there's your rising, and then there's your moon sign, and there's also your
the lunar calendar.
no.
Hold on to something.
Damn it.
The hands pointing to the numbers is not time. They just represent time. So it's the same when you think of the stars. The planets, where they are in the chart, are not the energies that we're looking at. They're just representations of those energies. It's just the realm of possibilities that the way that you express action in your life could show up.
When we categorize different planets in astrology, it's just to give characteristics on the specific energies. To touch on a point that you brought up, like how can we be here and planets all the way out there, how are they affecting us? Energy cannot be created or destroyed, right? That's what I was getting to is we're all bits and pieces of energy, so everything that exists in our universe is energy,
I
right?
think that we're getting confused with our definitions of energy. I think that's where like we have a different definition of, like, more scientific definition of energy, and you guys have more of a
It's
like a personality, like spiritual, yeah, like that, like
Yeah,
a
I think
So you guys are probably like, astrology is not a science, but it is, because it's its own separate field. Astrology has been a practice that has been used for civilizations.
What is a science to you? What does science mean to you?
Now, a science is
The way she's, like, sitting there and tilting her head is very
Condescending.
yeah, condescending. That's exactly the word I was looking for, condescending. The way she's just basically assuming that she's already more intelligent than him. That's exactly what her face says.
She's like, how do you define a science? It's like, listen, it's a study of something. Like, I get it. It's not I kind of feel like it's a bunch of mumbo jumbo too. But if you're studying something, it becomes a science at that point. Like, you can't deny it. Like, what is a science to you? Asking the deeper questions with head tilt lady.
The way also that she's being condescending to him automatically shows that she's not even open-minded to listening to him.
anything that can be applied to the practical realm. I know we were saying a lot of talk about, oh, this is interpretive, or this could be used for predictive measures, but it is something that is practical, right? I have to use math and I have to use other basic science skills in order to pull up a chart. I'm looking at degree placement, right?
I think that fields could use science and still not be science. You could use math and science and it still not be a science. I think science
what's
comes
your
with
degree? I'm sorry,
of
what's
science.
your definition of science?
I think
Did she just say you can use math in science and math won't be a science?
Yeah.
Math is literally the science of numbers.
My brain hurts. I'm hurting.
And she's supposed to be the scientist. Okay.
Astronomy is not a science.
I think science comes with fact. There's a scientific method, so you start with a theory and then you prove it at the end. Say we randomly discover a new planet in our solar system,
sure.
okay? Will it change what you guys
Absolutely,
believe?
because that would be something that we'd have to sit and try to study. We'd have to conduct research on that planet, just as well as you guys would have to do. You guys would just be applying it in a different way. So I definitely look at our field as a science.
My man shut her down pretty good.
You know, say, dude,
Yeah, I'm like, all right.
That's
I don't
right.
believe in this mumbo jumbo, but you know, I got you.
Science. No, they're not. In fact, it's the opposite. Most scientists would say that I'm crazy. Do I believe that astrology is a type of science, a soft science? Yes, because I study psychology, I study therapy. There are people who say that therapy and psychology are not sciences. I also think that psychology and therapy are soft sciences. They're not rooted in the scientific method. They are rooted more in the person, in who that person is, and the potential of that human being and their energies.
But there's a difference there because in psychology, we could scan the brain and see the chemical imbalances. We could see what's missing. We could see the neurons firing. We could see exactly why things are happening, and we could prove that. So,
But you can't always prove the treatment.
But you can't prove like how someone's feeling. You can't prove what's going on in their head and the emotions that are running through them, the thoughts that are running through their head. So you can't just diagnose what mental disorder somebody has just by scanning their brain. That's the problem with modern day medications and why so many people get diagnosed for the wrong medications is because doctors are so quick to just turn to technology instead of turning to psychology and psychiatry to figure out what's actually wrong with the person in their mental state.
No, I think what she's trying to say is psychology and like those soft sciences are actually can be considered sciences because of these different factors.
Oh, okay.
And whereas she doesn't think astrology has any scientific thing going on for her, but then, you know, my man shut her down with the, if you added a new planet, new science means new science for us.
Yeah.
You know?
We can also
The
look at a
treatment can't always be
chart. We can also look at a chart and look at how the energies are interacting with a person and correlate it to what is on the chart. Somebody had to be like, why is that energy affecting me in this way? Somebody had to sit and study these things. A team had to do research on these things.
I don't have science to prove why I believe what I believe. It's just, I've been studying this for 7 years and I've been practicing professionally for 4 years. And astrology has not led me wrong. Like, I don't miss.
Is there a way you can tell if you're wrong or right?
Well, yeah, because
What does that mean you don't miss? Honey, are you going to give me lottery numbers? Because we need to get in contact.
Yeah, like if you need my lunar calendar sign, like give it to me and I'll take the lottery numbers any day.
And you know, the thing is, like when people try to say that astrology is a sham or isn't supported by anything, my biggest thing is that there are actual really wealthy people like used astrology and gone to professional astrologists to give predictions about things that will happen in the future, about the economy, about world states, how other countries are going to react. People actually do turn to astrologists because there is some truth behind it. Like, and that's a fact. You can look that up. Like you can look up that there are very wealthy people and professional astrologists who get paid very well to help give predictions.
Oh, yeah,
I
know that.
to very important people who, you know, and I mean, hate to say it, but people who are higher up in the world than us tend to know things that we don't. So if they're turning to them, they probably know things that we don't. That's just my opinion.
I don't know. I think it just comes down to your belief system.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Like, it's just a faith.
Of course, yeah.
And how religion works. You know, you have faith in a God.
In my opinion, the most powerful belief or religion or anything that you can do is, or I guess the most powerful thing in the world is manifestation. The most powerful thing in the world, period, is whatever you believe truly in your heart of hearts. If you believe it and speak it and like try to make it like come true, like I think anything can be possible. You
So
know?
you're finally admitting Doctor Strange's strongest character in the MCU?
Yes, I've been saying that, dude. Dude, Doctor Strange took on Thanos with 4 Infinity Stones alone, and he didn't even use the Time Stone. He totally could have. All right.
I speak to my clients. I never tell my clients, like, this definitely happened for you, and if you don't agree, then you're wrong. I'll say, oh, this could be an indication of this. Is this true? And they'll say yes, or if they say no, I'll say, well, maybe it can be interpreted in this different way. That's also where the interpretive thing comes in, is that it doesn't play out the exact same every time, which is why it can't be pinned down by
And that's
science.
why you can't call it a science, because it's not reproducible. Science is something that is rigorously tested.
See, in my opinion, I disagree, because when you're doing like astrology readings or anything like that where you're trying to pinpoint something wrong or a prediction of something, even with science, you need all of the evidence. You need all of the facts. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And when you're trying to pinpoint something in science, like a meteor like crashing into Earth, if you didn't see that there was a storm in the upper hemisphere or whatever, I don't know, like some kind of air pressure in the upper hemisphere that was going to direct it to a different city, then that's going to throw off your trajectory. And it's the same, hold on. It's the same thing with astrology, in my opinion, because you don't know everything about a person going into their life, you know, but you're trying to give them a general reading. And then with the information they give you, then that's the variable that you're missing, which could be the air pressure. And then that's what helps you pinpoint or interpret it in a different way.
My biggest thing with her argument is that it's like not the same thing every single time, and that's why it can't be science. That's what a theory is. It's something that you haven't proved to be definitive over and over again, and then whatever does finally happen every single time becomes a scientific law. So like her argument there it doesn't make sense.
Just because it's not proven like to a T doesn't mean it's not a science.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, to me, like, this is just a variable in their scientific method. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing is you can never have an exact answer for every single person, because no person is going to know everything about their life except for them. That's why you have to read into it yourself and find what resonates with you, because only you know actually what's gone on in your life and how certain things affect you, how you react to certain things. Because you can just lie to an astronomer very easily or astrologist very easily and be like, yeah, I usually do this, that, and the other. I'm very emotional, X, Y, and Z. And they can give you a general reading. And if you're like, that's not me, I do this, then it's like, well, you just lied. Like, you just threw a whole wrench in the equation. You threw a whole wrench in this experiment that they were doing, their scientific method, you know? So to me, it still makes it a science. It's just, it's a science that can't be defined directly, because there's always variables that you can't account for. So it has to be done very individually.
Is or isn't.
Celestial objects influence people's mood.
I think celestial bodies do impact people's mood. The sun, the moon, like the amount of light you get in your day, like that can make your energy, you can be very full of energy. If it's cloudy, it's...
Dog, you were just saying earlier that you weren't going to let the sun and the moon determine how
2,000 years ago.
Dude, okay. But whether or not 2,000 years ago to today,
well, no, but
it's still affecting your personality.
Well, no, the thing is, it has to do with the vitamins and minerals that they're giving you versus just because the moon was here means I'm this. It's not going to... The sun and the moon are going to give you energy, and they're going to change how your mood is for the day, but it's not going to make your personality up, which I think that's what astrology is trying to set in stone for you.
But your mood is part of your personality. The moods that you feel constantly, like every single day, is part of your personality. If you're angry all the time, you're an angry person. Trust me, I know.
But we're made up of 70% water. The moon in astrology talks about our intuition, our feelings, our emotions. There are so many other planets and celestial bodies that are definitely doing that. So I'm so happy that you said yes, because it is definitely true.
I'd love to know what you think about...
She's saying the closer we are to the moon, the water in our body pulls it closer to the moon. And then that means we have more spiritual connection to the moon.
I don't know if it's necessarily gives us a stronger spiritual connection to the moon, but I think maybe the moon's energy has a stronger pull on our energy because we are made up of water, and the moon directly does affect water.
Okay. I was just trying to make sure I wasn't making like large jumps.
Yeah, no, I get where you're going with it. Yeah. You good?
Yeah.
Are you good, bro?
I'll have to say I really liked your interpretation of that because the moment that you stepped up, I was like, okay, I know what's coming. I know what it is because I do agree on that. I mean, look, Mars is really far away. What is Mars gonna do, like, to my mood? It just doesn't. Even the gravitational force that we experience between planets that are further away it's really nothing.
Can I ask what makes you say that with such certainty?
Because I do physics, and so I know how gravity.
I bet she was about to say, like, I'm a Cancer or something.
I think she was about to say, I'm a scientist. Like, and then she was like trying to be like respectful to the conversation. Like, wait, no, I can't just say that. That's just rude. But she wanted to be like, nah, I'm a scientist. Like, your shit's bullshit.
She does have like a very stern attitude though. Like, she's so like, no. Like,
I feel like that's a lot of people though that are just
stuck in their beliefs.
Not stuck in their beliefs, but like are into science because they're just like, I can see all the evidence for everything that I'm believing. Whereas there's some things like astrology, you don't have all the evidence in front of you, or like religion and things like that. That's why anything that doesn't have like facts to back it, usually scientists aren't like for it.
Yeah.
I think there's a big thing right now that we're using between correlation and causation. I think that's another big divide that we're seeing right now. Like when people are like in a mood or like they're really happy and they go outside, they're like, oh, there's Mars or the moon is full or whatever. That doesn't make sense to me, where people can kind of not blame their behavior, but associate it with what's happening. Like, there's a correlation, but we can't see the causation of it.
Right. Affecting us. We're affected by this energy, even if it's so many light years away or if it's right here in front of us, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Everything that you see, like if it's something that's 4 light years away, you're seeing it as it was 4 years ago,
right?
Not as it is today.
I only can go off of planets that are actually like in orbit, like the moon, the sun, our basic planets, including Pluto. Those are the only things that I really focus on.
The thing with that is, like, if you can still see the star, that means that the energy still exists. Because the energy is still traveling towards you, so that means it's still there. Once it leaves, just like if a new planet was discovered, like they said, they would have reconfigured the science. They would have restudied it. They would have gone back and checked into and done the math, basically.
Well, what she's saying is the distance is like it's 600 years ago. So in that exact location of where that star is, there is probably no more energy left.
Yeah, I know. There's no more energy left from that specific point.
Yeah.
But the fact that they can still see it means that light is traveling from that star still. Okay, once that light is completely gone, then that energy has completely disappeared. And even still, that energy doesn't completely disappear. It just takes on a new form and goes into a different part of the universe.
Yeah, but she's saying
Yeah, no. But once that happens and once that star and that energy disappears, then, like he said, if a new planet appeared, then they would go back and redo the science. So it's like, that's just the argument. They just do it again. It's just like when a new thing about matter is discovered. You just redo the math.
You guys are doing something that's very scientific and practical in what you're studying. But just because something isn't practical or scientific, you can still study religion, you can still study the Bible, the Torah. I don't even think it should necessarily be equated to your study.
For like astronomy, like there's scientific rigor into how we understand and how we know what we know now. You know, standing on the shoulders of giants, all the people who have studied it before us, and now we know, and we can prove what they've studied is correct. It's very like factual.
I'm, from my point of view as an astrologer, like I'm like, yeah, no, things are definitely factual based, and like astrologers sat down and they've come to a common consensus of what things mean based off of where they're placed, what energies are placed on them. That's what gives them more of the component of what the planet may mean.
I think, again, that's where the divide is, because when you guys could think certain things are fact, but I hear you keep bringing up that it's interpretation. So there's so many things going on way far away that we know about that, like you said, you don't really have the necessity to know about. I think that there's a lot of stuff that you guys interpret that we've disproven in a way, or that we've seen evidence for just going completely against it and negating your guys' points. So I think that's kind of where that divide kind of comes from.
1 is the loneliest number. Yeah, I would never sit here and say that, like you don't know what you're talking about. But also, like, I don't think you can fully understand anything. I think you can go to school. I think you can do the work. I think you can have a very good grasp on something, but you can never fully, like, we're talking about the stars and the universe and the planets here. You can't fully understand nothing in regards to that. You read the stars, you read the cosmos, you understand all of the sciencey things. You said Beetlejuice, I was like, the character? Is he here right now? For me as an astrologer, I study the stars, yes, but I also study people. My job is to work with someone one-to-one. I'm showing you what I see, but I'm also showing you what I see from you as a person.
Would you say astrology is more along the lines of like human psychology?
Psychology, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Depending on the system that you are studying.
Yeah, definitely.
It kind of means like that what astrology is like for fulfillment in terms of what benefits humankind. I mean, physics, astronomy literally brings us, cell phones. That's practical. But we also, as human beings, like to have things like art, for example, music. I need music. If I didn't have music, then I might, So it's kind of like there's a fulfillment thing. And I get that.
My belief is that balance is extremely important. And the way I see it, like logic and science and all of these things are one end of a spectrum. Like, to get a little spiritual, it's like yang energy. And we're representing, in my opinion, a bit more of the yin energy, the human element. And I think that it's also important to do what you can on a person-to-person basis, and that will help humanity.
All right, great. Thank you so much, and that's a wrap.
We didn't kill each other.
This lady is just like, I have to be right. I have to disprove. I have to. I just yeah.
And I get if you disagree, but they all kind of came into this with a closed mind, in my opinion. At least the astronomers, in my opinion, did, because that one other girl who said like, oh, we like refuted and like disproved everything you guys said. It was like, in my opinion, you actually didn't, because you're not even like taking into account.
No, I'm talking about science disproving astrology. Like that, she was saying there's a lot of instances of astronomy disproving astrology.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't think they did. That's the thing, is because like they don't take into account like the different side of the science. You know what I mean? Which is not just the physical side, but like the spiritual and like energy side that they don't personally, in my opinion, seem to have like an open mind to.
I don't know. I feel like the dude had a pretty open mind.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
But the two ladies, no. In my opinion, no. They were very much like, shut the fuck up.
Like, I'm right.
Yeah, like him.
Dude.
Hmm.
I feel like the majority of this video was just astrology can't possibly be right and astronomy has to be right. It was just like yours isn't a science, mine is a science. It's like I feel like you can accept the fact that astrology is a science, but you don't have to necessarily believe that science is correct.
Exactly. Right. That's what I was gonna say. Is that it felt very one-sided in terms of open-mindedness. The astrologers, in my opinion, felt very more open-minded in understanding that there's a side to the science that they don't understand, but the astronomers were very much like, this is the side we understand and it has to be right and your side can't be right, where it's like she said at the end, where there's actually two sides to it, the yin and the yang, the physical side and then the spiritual side that you can't see. And I don't think there was any middle ground found here.
Yeah, like I will say that out of this video, but based off of how people responded and like treated the prompts, I feel like this was a better Jubilee video than they've had in the past.
Yeah,
like people were on track and like having like debates with each other. That were reasonable.
Sure. Well, hey, if you guys enjoyed this video, do us a favor, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Is astrology a science? Is it a sham? Do you guys believe in astrology or only some stuff? Let us know. We want to hear your thoughts. Hope you guys have a great day. See you next time.